Jared Kushner, New Jersey real estate tycoon turned presidential son-in-law. From suburban landlord to the Manhattan big time, he's now occupying the most prized bit of real estate of them all. But is it pride before a fall? Jared's under scrutiny like never before. Allegations of secret meetings, dodgy dealings.
So was that meeting a mistake with the Russian attorney?
Undue influence at the highest levels, home and abroad. No wonder America seems to be turning against Javanka. Back in 2011, the world had not yet heard of Jared Kushner. But at the helm of his family business, he began buying up mid-range housing sites on the fringes of Rust Belt cities like Baltimore.
So this is the rent ledger for one of our tenants.
Some of these Kushner-owned complexes are now the focus of a class action lawsuit against its subsidiary, Westminster Management. The case has been brought by lawyer Andy Freeman.
That Westminster Management charges various fees associated with tenants paying late that they are not allowed to charge.
He says the multiple fees are illegal and they hit people who are already struggling.
Late fee 5%,
but they're allowed to do that.
Okay.
But then they tack on top of that a $10 agent fee and a $20 summons fee, neither of which are they allowed to do.
Jared Kushner stepped down as CEO of Kushner Companies and his position at Westminster when he entered the White House in January 2017. But he is named in this suit as a defendant and member of the company.
Jared Kushner was still the owner.
Interesting.
So this is Dutch Village.
Andy took me to one of the Kushner-owned properties where some of his claimants were living. He explained that the fees created a vicious cycle. The need to pay them ensured monthly rent payments were even harder to meet, meaning another late payment and more fees.
It's greedy on a sort of petty, small level. And the idea that on top of the rent that he's charging, which is a market rate of rent, that he needs to squeeze these last drops out to get another $82 here or $30 there is offensive and illegal.
Kushner Companies insist the fees are legal and in line with industry practices.
Amari.
And that's Imani.
Imani.
Simone Ryer, a single mum of 3, is one of the tenants involved in the class action. She lived in a Kushner property for a year before she says it all became too much.
I ended up leaving. I couldn't handle it anymore because I was missing more work going to court. And I'm like, how can I pay you if I'm always in court?
What does it make you feel about the way they treated the tenants?
It makes me feel horrible. It's like, I don't understand how they can be so cruel to people.
When Simone moved out, that wasn't the end of it. A £1,500 bill for damage she says she didn't do.
So after you became a claimant in this case and got involved with this case, they came back to you and said you had caused damage in the property even though after you'd left it?
Yes, and I've been gone for a while. They were fabricated. I feel like it was due to retaliation for the class action lawsuit.
What would you say to Jared Kushner if you saw him?
You're in the right house. Be a better role model.
A world away, New York City is where the Kushners have really made their money. Jared's assets run into hundreds of millions, and the family's property portfolio is expanding across the city. But one deal almost scuppered the business. The purchase 12 years ago of 666 Fifth Avenue by the Kushner Companies was at the time the biggest real estate deal in the history of the city. Jared Kushner was heavily involved, but from early on there were huge financing problems with the building, which the family have sought a way out of ever since. This was the Kushners announcing themselves in Manhattan with an eye-catching £1.4 billion deal. But they had problems renting office space and had to sell off parts of the building. So was it a sense that Jared screwed up in a way?
You know, some people have called it one of the worst real estate deals in New York history. 666 was really a pivotal piece. It's like the Jenga piece, and if you pull it away, the whole thing collapses. For a while, it imperiled the entire business. So this weighed on Jared. I mean, this was his first big move into the city, him asserting the new generation, Kushner 2.0.
But in 2015, with a huge unaffordable mortgage due in a few years, Jared joined the Donald Trump campaign team. All of a sudden, he was able to get meetings he'd never had before. And after Trump was elected, things got even better.
You know, Jared was meeting with world leaders. The minute Jared appeared on the campaign trail, there was questions about conflicts of interest. Like, is he going to put his company's interests in a way that conflicts with the interests of his public policy duties?
Under scrutiny, a meeting between Jared and a company tied to the Chinese state. A deal for 666 was allegedly thrashed out.
Mr. Kushner, you think you're going to get a job in the White House?
Have a good day. Thank you.
At the time, Jared had also been meeting Chinese government officials as Donald Trump's advisor. Details are featured in a new book, Kushner, Inc., where insiders voice concerns about Jared's role in the White House.
All his transition colleagues heard about this. They were horrified. Gary Cohn said to him, Jared, you realize that from now on, everything you do makes it look as if you are in government purely to enrich yourself. I think that is the appearance of corruption, George.
The White House, Jared Kushner, and Kushner companies have all called the book fiction. The Chinese deal fell apart, but out of the blue in 2018, a deal was done with a Canadian firm whose major investor is the Qatari state.
We will eventually get to the bottom of what happened with 666 Fifth Avenue and why this lemon of a project suddenly became so attractive to a foreign government-connected investor.
Is it your suspicion that some of his activities in the White House may have led to that?
The conclusion seems almost irresistible that he was using his position within the Trump administration to continue to conduct various business pursuits.
Qatar says it has nothing to do with buying the building, but the deal has intensified scrutiny of the president's son-in-law. From the most powerful branch of government in the land to the district courts of Maryland, it seems everyone is now minding Jared's business.